Welcome to Up Level, Real Health, Real Talk with Dr. Jenna Blasi. I'm Dr. Jenna. I spent years crafting ways to help women thrive, and I want to help you do the same. On this podcast, we dive deep into health at every level, focusing on the mind, the body, and the spirit. This is where real conversations meet transformational wellness. We'll be talking about all the things that truly matter, from nutrition and fitness to lifestyle, mindset, and personal development. Plus, the real deal on managing stress and navigating menopause. So if you're ready to elevate your health journey with authentic, transformative insights, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Up Level. I'm Dr. Jenna, and today I want to talk about something that I know so many women feel, but don't always know how to navigate, and that is our bodies changing in our 40s and 50s. What used to work may not be cutting it anymore, and you could be wondering, is this age? Is there something more happening? And you're feeling like your metabolism just isn't what it used to be. So first, let me say you're not imagining it, but the good news is you're not stuck with it. So today we're going to break down exactly how your metabolism shifts in midlife, but more importantly, how we can reboot it in a way that feels sustainable and not like you're fighting your body every step of the way. So let me start by saying this is not your fault, despite what others may say. I see many, if it's a male-female couple, where the husband or the male partner thinks, you just need to do what I'm doing. You just need to do more cardio. Maybe you're not working hard enough. And because they're getting different results. So that's not true. We don't need the same things that our male counterpart needs or what works for them. Your metabolism isn't broken. It's asking for something different. And the best part is that you can absolutely get results at any age without starving yourself and without punishing workouts. And I have seen 40-year-olds reclaim their bodies, 50-year-olds reclaim their bodies, 60, 70, even 80-year-olds get back feeling like they have got their power back. And so this episode is not just about metabolism. It's not just about our body. It is about reclaiming your power in midlife. I am passionate about women finding their joy, finding their power in this time of life. When I was younger, I never actually minded getting older because I felt like there was a wise woman inside of me. Some of you have heard me say this before. And I was getting closer to her. Every year I got older, I was getting closer and closer to her. And then at some point I felt like I became one with her. And that is a part of aging that I've loved. So this should be an amazing time of life. This should be a time of life when you are thriving and fully embracing your badass self. However, what you might be feeling is that your body's changing without your permission, or you're frustrated because what used to work isn't working anymore. Maybe you're scared that you're going to always feel this tired or this uncomfortable in your skin, or your mind isn't going to work the way it used to, and that has you thinking of dementia or Alzheimer's. So if you're feeling any of these things, this conversation is for you. And for my younger listeners, it's good for you to know this as well, so you're not dreading this time of life and you know how to go into this phase fully prepared. So what happens is that the midlife can feel like a breaking point, but the truth is it's actually a wake-up call. Your body isn't betraying you, it's asking for something different. And what I see is when women, we give and we push and we're burning the candles at both ends, and we can get away with that when we're younger and it catches up to us in this time of life. And so all of these stories we've carried for decades, dieting, shrinking, hustling, go, put everybody else before us, it catches up with us. It catches up with us, and it is a wake-up call to really start prioritizing us, prioritizing our well-being, and asking ourselves, how do I want to live? Because you deserve to thrive, and you absolutely can. So this is not about your body going back to how it was in your 20s. It's about creating your strongest, healthiest self right now. So let's start with nutrition. Midlife nutrition matters more than ever. So I get that it's frustrating when it feels like what used to work doesn't work anymore. I hear so many women say, oh, I would gain weight on vacation and I would just come home and work out and restrict a little bit and bounce right back. But this is this pattern we've been in, right? Binge, restrict, or like vacation has to be separate from real life. So I know it's hard when what doesn't work or what used to work doesn't work anymore, but there are a lot of things shifting in this time of life. Our hormones are shifting, our muscle mass is declining, our insulin sensitivity is changing. So when we look at hormones, yes, estrogen shifting, progesterone, cortisol, but that doesn't automatically mean weight gain, fatigue, feeling like crap, not being able to think clearly is inevitable. So the bigger issue, especially when we're looking at metabolism and body composition, is muscle loss plus stress. These are two things that we have more control over than we think. The old calorie in, calorie out model doesn't work the same way anymore because your body is becoming more sensitive to stress, to inflammation, and to muscle loss. Most women, now hear me on this, most women don't need to eat less. They need to eat better and move smarter. So frame it differently. This isn't about fighting your body. It's about learning how to partner with it in a whole way, a whole new way. And so I think that we can, and in a whole way, a holistic way, we always have the opportunity to reframe things. But there's many myths and mindset pieces that are keeping us stuck. And I want to go through those. 1, my metabolism is slowing down because of age. The truth is, it is not just age. It's muscle loss, it's stress, and it's mindset habits that impact metabolism far more than age alone. Muscle loss starts happening in our 30s. So it slows down when we have muscle loss. It slows down how many calories we burn at rest. And it's up to 3 to 5% per decade if you're not strength training. But how many times have we heard, eat less, move more? Maybe you've been battling weight and you go into your doctor and they said you just need to eat less, move more. Maybe your partner thinks that. This advice might have worked in our 20s, but in midlife, it's not a recipe for success and it can wreck our metabolism. Which brings us to myth number 2. I have to eat less to lose weight. The truth is that undereating can actually slow your metabolism down even more. Plus, typically leaves us with low energy availability. We're cranky. We're feeling restricted all the time. We feel like we can't go out and enjoy our lives and our friends. So the truth is your body needs to feel safe and nourished to burn fat, not deprived and stressed out. Here's another one, and I've talked about it before. Myth, carbs are the enemy. We have created carbs as the enemy. The truth is the right carbs at the right time actually support metabolism and hormones. If we don't have enough carbohydrates, we potentially start breaking down muscle to get the fuel that we need. And I know everybody's big right now on keto and carnivore. And I don't agree with those. I don't believe the research supports it, despite what all of the influencers on Instagram want you to believe. And long term, our body needs the good quality complex carbohydrates. That's the nutrition piece. Let's look at the mind-body connection to metabolism. Got into this a little bit in the last episode. Stress and cortisol impact our metabolism more than calories alone. This is why understanding that your thoughts about food and your thoughts about your body literally change your biochemistry. So I invite you to start shifting from the mindset of what do I need to restrict, what do I need to cut out, to how can I nourish and support my body to thrive. And doesn't that just feel better? When you hear that, oh, how can I nourish and support my body to thrive? My body relaxes. And again, I actually felt it relax as I said that versus what do I need to restrict and how can I work harder and how can I punish myself? Our mindset shapes our metabolism. This is the piece that no one's talking about. We're talking about the protein. We're talking about the strength training. But what about the mindset piece? So if you're constantly thinking, my body is broken, it's impossible to lose weight now, your subconscious mind is sending those signals to every cell in the body, and you're also sending that out into the universe, my body's broken, it's impossible to lose weight. And you will get more of that. You will get more of that. Just like if you tell a kid, you're stupid, they're going to take that in. And it's going to be harder for them to believe that they're smart. So let's start talking to our bodies differently. Your thoughts about your body literally impact your metabolism. So when you shift into, my body is always working for me, I'm giving my body what it needs to thrive, guess what? Your body starts responding differently. So here's a simple daily practice. Every time you eat, silently thank your body for what it's doing. Even if you're not where you want to be yet. Could always be worse. But the reality is we may not be where we want to be, but it could always be worse. There's always somebody worse off. So let's be grateful. Let's thank our body for what it's doing. Like having babies and you have stretch marks and maybe you have crepey skin, but thank you, body. You birthed babies. I'm so grateful for you. So most of us, when we sit down to eat, we're not thanking our body for what it's doing, and we're overanalyzing and maybe freaking out about what's on our plate, especially if we're out to eat somewhere and we can't get the food that we think that we want for the food that we would prefer. And so just bless it, thank it, and shift this mindset piece. It will shift how your body responds. So let's put this in a framework. A midlife metabolism reset framework, if you will. A, let's nourish to thrive, not just survive. I ask people frequently when I do free webinars online, are you thriving or are you surviving? And most of us are in survival mode. Some women are in between. A few of us feel pretty good, but we could go next level. Right? There's always room to up level. Let's nourish to thrive, not just survive. Focus on what to add in. Protein, fiber, healthy fats, not just what to cut out. And having enough to eat, especially protein, we're going to break this down in a moment, signals safety to your body and supports muscle and hormone health. And then looking at eating in this way to balance our blood sugar and balance our energy. So starting with protein priority. Protein is queen for muscle, metabolism, and hormones. And I know you all have probably heard this, but protein first. This is non-negotiable. Aim for 30 to 40 grams per meal. Now, the recommended amount of protein for us in this time of life is roughly a gram of protein per pound of body weight. It's actually a little bit over a gram. It's like 1.15 or 1.2. But it's just easier to think of it as like gram per pound. So you are allowed to base this on your ideal weight. So let's say you're 200 pounds, but your ideal weight is 150. You can base it off 150 grams of protein a day. Now, this may feel like a lot to many of you. There's a few pieces to this. One, we want to break it up 3 or 4 times a day. There's only so much that we can take in at a time, but we're also not taking it in as efficiently as we used to, which is why just giving our bodies 20 grams is not enough. So aim for around 40 grams per meal, 30 to 40 grams, and structure the rest of your diet around this. Carbs and fats are going to vary person to person. So I want to finish about protein and then I'll talk about carbs and fats. But structure your day around protein. So if you work out in the morning, maybe you have your breakfast with your 30 to 40 grams of protein. And if you eat eggs, that could look like eggs, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, whatever within what you eat. And then you do your workout, or maybe you fuel lightly before your workout. Maybe you have a protein shake and some amino acids or collagen in that shake before you work out, and then you eat your breakfast after. Again, finding what works for you, but fueling around your workout and then building your day around it. So then you'd have your 30 or 40 grams at lunch and your 30 or 40 grams at dinner. And so the goal is to hit roughly a gram per pound of body weight. And for macros, this ends up being 30-ish% of your macros, your total nutrients. And as I said in a previous episode, many women aren't even hitting 20% of their macros. And when we age, our body wants protein and we start looking for more ways to get it, but we often end up eating more without realizing it because our body's searching for protein. And so women even upping from under 20% to 20% of their diet from protein had gains. But ideally, we want to aim for 30+% of our macros being protein. Protein not only builds muscle, by the way, it is has the highest thermic effect. So your body is going to be fueling to digest protein. I'm a vegetarian. You don't have to be a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian. And so I do a protein shake because that helps me hit my macros, and I'm not super hungry in the morning. So I like a protein shake, and it's a great easy way for me to get 20 to 40 grams. Again, I might supplement. I might do 20 grams of protein powder and add in something else. I do dairy, and so Greek yogurt is also a great source. Quick little tip, we had this in our newsletter this month, for looking if a protein is a high content food. I said that backwards. For looking at a food to see if it's a high protein content food, if a food has, say, 100 calories per serving, you divide that by 10, and that's how many grams of protein should be in each serving for it to be considered a high protein food. So, for example, I think non-fat Greek yogurt is 100 or 110 calories, and it has 16 or 18, depending on the brand, grams of protein. So that's high protein because it needs at least 10. And so that's how you can look at, and this is where staples like beans and legumes and nuts and seeds, when we're younger and we can pull protein from anything, is enough. But as we get older, they're not actually high protein foods. I still eat legumes and lentils, but they're more of a carbohydrate source. They're not a high protein. They add to the overall content of the protein I'm consuming, but they're not a high protein food. And nuts and seeds are higher in fat than they are in protein. So this brings us to blood sugar balance. The more protein we eat, this helps stabilize our blood sugar. The more comprehensive and whole food our diet, the more this is going to stabilize our blood sugar. And I encourage you to ditch the all or nothing fasting rules. It's not really about when you eat. It's about what you're eating when you do. And so these crazy fasting rules where we're starving ourselves, it doesn't work for most women. Now, there's individuality. Let me preface this. There's foundations that I'm going over, foundations for exercise, foundations for diet that apply as a generalization. It's supported in the research. It applies as a generalization, but you're still an individual, and I encourage you to find what works for you. In general, if a woman wants to do some fasting, it's 12 to 14 hours that's ideal. For most women past 14, and for some past 12, we start breaking down our muscle to get the fuel. And so I encourage you to follow your guidance versus, your intermittent fasting timer. Now, a lot of the nutrition researchers out there today will say don't fast at all. If you stop eating at 8 o'clock at night and you don't want to eat till 8 o'clock in the morning, that's 12 hours. I think that that's reasonable. If you stop eating at 6 and you wake up at 6 and don't want to eat till 8 and get 14 hours. So again, find what works for you. But most of the research on fasting, it doesn't actually help with weight loss, for example. It's more just the number of calories. People are eating fewer in a smaller window. And so women can really have energy crashes if they're fasting, and especially if you're working out and you're depriving your body. So just build every meal with protein, with fiber, with healthy fats, and find your balance. Muscle is your superpower at this time of life. I just want to bring this to protein is going to fuel your muscle. So that's the nutrition piece that we just talked about. The second piece is muscle is your superpower. So strength training is not optional anymore. It is the number one way to rev your metabolism long term. Building muscle is non-negotiable for metabolism, for hormones, for longevity, and we are losing muscle. This does not mean you need to be killing yourself in the gym. 3 to 4 times a week of simple lifting plus some walking can be a huge game changer. I often mix up what I'm doing. But, for a full plan, like for example, I always weight train, lift heavy 3 to 4 times a week. Now, heavy lifting is different for everybody. So keep that in mind. Heavy lifting is different for everybody. And that's a whole nother topic. And I don't have time to go into that piece. But adding in HIIT training, adding in some plyometrics. So my current regime is I do strength training, lifting pretty heavy 3 days a week, and I'm doing HIIT exercise twice a week in different intervals. And then I do a list cardio 1 day a week, which is a longer, it's supposed to be zone 2 roughly. I do it on my rebounder. So I get excited and I go above zone 2, but for 45 minutes. Again, I'm just sharing that in case that's of interest to you, but the strength training and the muscle building becomes non-negotiable. and then the mindset plus metabolism connections. We have our diet, our nutrition, our muscle is our superpower, so the exercise, the lifting piece, and our mindset piece. Self-talk. My body's betraying me. My body is broken. I hate you. I don't like the way you look. Let's reframe all that. My body is always working for me. Thank you, body, for being strong. This literally changes how your body responds. So practice gratitude for your body every time you move, every time you eat, no matter what is on your plate, and observe your self-talk. Shift your self-talk. Gratitude. Visualization literally changes how our body processes food. Now, the whole last episode, I think it was the last one, was all about how we change the patterns and the wiring in our brains by the way that we visualize. We can do this for our bodies as well. We can do this for our bodies 100%. And I would add, managing stress isn't just about feeling calm. It's a direct metabolism booster. If you are constantly in fight or flight mode, cortisol just pumping out, it's going to be harder to get rid of belly fat. It's going to be harder to restore and repair after a workout because you're in stress mode. So there's so many benefits to this. And I ask you the question, what would it feel like to trust your body and yourself again? Instead of feeling like your body's betraying you, instead of feeling out of control, like whatever I'm doing isn't working, what would it feel like to trust your body and yourself again? All right, let me break down the research a little bit. Eating more protein plus lifting weights consistently can increase your metabolism by 5 to 15%. So there was one study they did, and they found that women who increased protein intake to 30% of their daily calories naturally ate fewer calories, gained muscle, and boosted metabolism without trying. So as I said earlier, the average woman doesn't even get 20% protein intake from her calories, from her daily calories. And this study, this was in the Journal of Nutrition and Metabolism, found that women who increased protein intake to 30% of their daily calories gained muscle, ate fewer calories, and boosted their metabolism without trying. Walking is wonderful for stress management. It also improves insulin sensitivity and fat loss without having any adverse effects on the body. Like, it's a low impact thing to do. And if you're walking in nature, you get the benefits of nature and calm. And that's been found at 7,000 to 10,000 steps that our insulin sensitivity improves and that we start releasing fat. Women who prioritize strength training gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, even in menopause. Here's the thing with the starvation diets. You are restricting and you may lose weight, but you're losing muscle. And we don't want that. We do not want that in this time of life. So women who strength train and prioritize strength training gain muscle and lose fat in menopause. So this particular study was in the Menopause Journal. Women who strength train 3 times a week, again, you don't have to be in there 5-6 times a week. Women who strength train 3 times a week can increase their resting metabolism by 5 to 15%, just in case I'm not being clear with my words, in just 12 weeks, even in perimenopause and menopause. So imagine you're losing 3 to 5% of your muscle every decade. But if you strength train 3 times a week, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, in 12 weeks, this study found that women could increase their resting metabolism by 5 to 15%. I kind of mixed those issues a little bit, but they're tied together because the more muscle we have, the more our resting metabolism goes up. So we're losing muscle, so our resting metabolism is decreasing, and our decreased estrogen has been found to lower our resting metabolism as well. So our lowering estrogen has been found to lower our resting metabolism as much as up to 200 to 300 calories per day. That's pretty significant. If you're looking at being in a slight calorie deficit to release weight and your resting metabolic rate goes down just from estrogen loss alone, 200 to 300 calories, and then we're losing muscle, which is also further decreasing, strength training is going to help offset that. Okay, let's give ourselves permission to break the rules. Trust yourself. Do intuitive eating. Let go of diet dogma. Let go of starvation diets. Forget the starvation diets. Understand that you're an individual. And that's why I said earlier, there's these foundations, but I want you to trust yourself and know what your body needs. And understand that our bodies are not the same at 45 or 55 or 65 as they were at 25, and nor should our nutrition. There's no more one size fits all. I mean, there are no one size fits all. I don't think there ever were. But there's no more making your body the enemy. Can we let that go? Can we let that go and look at it differently? This isn't about shrinking your body. It's about nourishing your future self. So I invite you to become your own detective. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what's helping your metabolism and what is not. So experiment, listen, trust in your body. And really start to visualize loving yourself, appreciating your body. Do it now. Not when it reaches X size or X weight. Do it now. Love yourself now. Give yourself the grace that you give the other people in your life. What would it feel like to wake up energized and strong instead of depleted? What would it feel like to trust your body to release weight naturally without punishment? When I taught fitness classes for years, and there were other fitness instructors that they would always talk about calories, like after a holiday, come on, let's burn those calories. How much cake did you eat over this holiday? And it's such a punishing mindset. I refused to partake in that. I would not lead my class to work harder based on burning calories because you ate too much and it's time to punish yourself. So trust your body to release the weight without punishment. Feel like you're working with your body instead of fighting against it. Wouldn't that feel good? Like, really think about that. What would it feel like to feel like you're working with your body instead of fighting against it? Let's break this down into practical steps. How can you start this sort of reboot now? I want you to choose one area to focus on first. Protein, muscle, or mindset. Again, whenever I talk about these various things, it's not meant to be overwhelming. When I talked about the pillars of health, choose one. Choose one and focus on it. When that's dialed in, you can add the next. So choose one area to focus on. Protein. All of these are going to give you gains. So just pick one. Protein, muscle, or mindset. Maybe you already have the muscle dialed in. You need to up your protein. Maybe you have protein and muscle. You need to up level your mindset. So small shifts plus consistency will be magic. I promise you, small shifts plus consistency. Because if we try to do all the things and then we back off and we don't end up really doing any of them, we're just spinning our wheels. So build, layer, and this will bring metabolism magic. And you can apply this to any aspect of your life. These small shifts plus consistency bring magic. And remember, your body isn't giving up on you. It's waiting for you to start giving it what it truly needs. So depending on which of those three you chose, what could this look like in real life? Could look like coffee plus a protein shake in the morning if you're focused on protein. It could look like strength training 3 to 4 times a week because muscle is your number one metabolic asset and you haven't been doing it. You haven't been working it that way. So just remember, muscle is not just for fat loss. It's for energy. It's for confidence. It's for longevity. Walk more, not as a punishment, but because it clears your head. It regulates your blood sugar. Build your meals around protein, add that fiber in, vegetables, healthy fats, complex carbohydrates. And the mindset piece could look like eating like a woman who loves her body, not a woman who's trying to shrink it or who's constantly depriving herself. And the walking piece it fits into more than one of these categories, right? Because walking will help manage stress. So if you choose mindset and stress, for example, walk and manage stress like it's your job. Walking is going to regulate blood sugar, clear your mind, help your body feel safe. This is exactly what your metabolism needs to let go of fat. It's also going to help you feel calm. Adding an evening wind down routine to lower cortisol. It's going to help you sleep better, have more energy during the day. And giving yourself, again, permission to find your own rules within the foundations of health. I encourage you, as we close here, what if you stopped trying to shrink yourself? I said this earlier, and started trying to take up more space. I want you to start owning your badass self. Take up space. Take up space. Find your voice. This is an amazing time of life to do that. Nourish over restrict. Build over burn, and trust over control. Many of you perfectionists, type A, ambitious women, I get it. I get it. I've been there. But let's let go and trust over trying to control everything. We're going to find a lot more freedom in that focus. All right, I do want to recap. I know we're probably just at about time here, but just to really, I know I've said these, but let's really just go through these one more time, and then I'm going to close, of how we can really reboot our bodies, our metabolisms, without it being a fight. All right, eat to fuel, not to fix. Not to fix. Eat to fuel, not to fix. All right. Protein, whole foods, not because you're trying to lose weight. And I always say release weight because I got that from Bob Proctor, because if you lose it, you'll go back and find it. But not just because you're trying to release weight, but because you're giving your body what it needs to thrive. Lift heavy, walk often. I have a walking treadmill. And so in addition to my workout routine where I strength train 3 times a week and the other things that I told you, I have a walking treadmill because I'm in a lot of meetings during the day. So I add those extra walks. I also love to get out in nature and walk, but that doesn't happen as often as I would like. And so a walking treadmill is a great way to add that in. But remember that strength training is not just about how you look. It's about reminding your body how strong and capable it is still. And then heal your stress response. Heal your stress response. Your body will not burn fat if it doesn't feel safe. The nervous system work is part of the healing. It's part of this reboot. And rebuild self-trust. Every time you show up for yourself, you're proving to your body that you're on the same team. You're proving to your body that you're on the same team. So learn to trust yourself, show up for yourself, and give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace, all right? And we're rebuilding integrity when we show up for ourselves and we start to prioritize, and then we actually can be there for other people. Remember, put our own oxygen mask on first. Okay, finishing up. Your body isn't broken. It's adapting. You are not broken. You're evolving. And you are not too old or too far gone. It is not too late to feel amazing again. I want to stress this because some of you will be thinking, oh, I'm too old. But I said in the beginning, 60, 70, 80, it doesn't matter. You're never too old. You're never too far gone. And it is never too late to feel amazing again. And your metabolism changes. It's not something that's happening to you. It's something you have the power to recalibrate at any age. And this is a piece I talk about with the mindset. When we can start viewing life as not happening to us, but happening for us, everything's happening for us. These metabolism changes are not something happening to you. It's an invitation to actually, it's that wake-up call to remind you have the power to recalibrate at any age and to look at, have I been burning the candle at both ends? Have I been giving, and not taking care of myself? It's an opportunity. So this time of our life can be the strongest, most vibrant chapter yet. I truly believe this. But it starts with treating your body like a partner, not a project. So, to close, the best years of your life truly are the ones you're about to create. You get to create them. And it starts with how you choose to take care of yourself right now. So thank you all so much for joining me. If there's any of these pieces that you would love to go deeper with, you can leave me a message. You want me to do a whole episode on strength or whatever pieces, let us know. Connect with us on social media. Put your questions in there. I can do a Q&A. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Tell your friends, share it with other women who are struggling because you're not alone and you're not crazy, but you can reclaim your life and you can thrive. This is your time to thrive. I believe this time of life is the best. And I feel better this decade than I did in my 40s, than I did in my 30s. And it can be a really exciting time. And if you're interested in working with us deeper, I do have mindset programs and wellness programs. Reach out to the office and we can hop on a strategy call with you to see if we're a fit. So have an amazing day. Grab one of these, run with it, and I look forward to hearing how you do. Thanks so much for joining me. See you next time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Up Level, Real Health, Real Talk. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your health journey, one that nourishes not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's episode, please leave a review. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving. And remember, true wellness is a journey, and you are on the right path.